Greetings everyone, welcome back. This is part 2, and in the last video you got to see just a short introduction to what I'm going to be using as inspiration and reference for a drawing in the sketchbook. This is all going to be related to the upcoming release of Disney's Stitch, and I think this is going to be kind of fun. So yeah, I'm going to set some of these aside just so I have access to them. Let's put my buddy Stitch there for a moment, and let's just put that sock there. All right, the next thing that I'm going to be using is this. And this is something you probably see in my other videos, absolutely unrelated to Stitch, but I think they could be good buddies. This is what I like to call the bunny pen. And let's get to work, shall we, bunny? Here we go. I'm going to use light blue to start. Now, I'm actually going to treat this as a mashup. So I'm going to introduce another character with this character of Stitch, and we'll see how it goes. It might be terrible, it might be awesome, doesn't really matter in the great scheme of things, because we're going to have fun while doing it. Now the reason why I'm starting off with this light blue is it's going to allow me the ability to kind of make a few mistakes along the way, I think. Which I'm okay with, if I'm being honest. Actually, let's see about doing something. Shrek has like, I keep calling him Shrek. Stitch has like little dark eyes, almost like Grogu, you know, the Baby Yoda like character from The Mandalorian. So I'll do my best to try to stop calling him by a different name. I don't even know why I have that floating around inside my head. It just seems weird to me. Oh well. I will get over it. Maybe. So if you hear it multiple times, it's not on purpose. It's more just because something in my head is floating around. Now, as you can see, I kind of have one eye open and one eye kind of squinting a little bit. And I think in doing so, it's going to change how the eyebrows are going to look. Just a little bit. Now, Lilo and Stitch are interesting characters to me. Kind of like when I was a kid, Drew Barrymore, who we're actually pretty close in age, she was in a movie about introducing her friends and stuff to an alien. Although it was more about the relationship with Elliot. to the extraterrestrial. A lot of people really enjoyed Drew Barrymore's character as well. Now, Stitch, which I'm going to try to remember to just keep saying that name just like that, has unusual teeth. Two sort of smaller ones in the front, and then like a row of incisors, kind of like larger fangs, I guess you could say. Back here. 4 altogether, really. I don't know why I like that kind of detail, but I try to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And I suppose the neatest thing about this character, to some degree, is that he's kind of cute. But would be pretty powerful as well. In my mind, his character has bits and pieces of inspiration, although I don't know if the Disney artists would admit that, but has inspiration from lots of other places. And I could be wrong in thinking this. That's how I'm going to draw parts of this, thinking that perhaps this was inspired from other places. So like little pug dogs, gremlins would be in my mind for when I'm doing this. Maybe even for fun, I'd have in there bunny rabbits. Maybe a little bit of E.T. as well. The extraterrestrial. And of course, I'm not going to draw Stitch exactly. That is not my thing. So we'll figure it out as we go. So I like to try to figure out parts of how I want the anatomy to be seen. So that would be like how the body might move. Kind of working on those little ear folds. And these little notches that kind of have popped out, maybe. Could be from conflict. I don't know. I don't know if it's ever explained. I don't know if it has to be. But the left ear has one that's a little bit lower, and then the right ear has one that's a little bit higher. And the ears curl a little bit the same way as you might see like a horse ear might curve, or a bunny rabbit might curve in, kind of like if you hold your hand a little like that. Or like a tulip might curve in. Now here's that upper. Actually, let's go up a little bit higher. Something like that. I may have gone a little bit further with making this look like a, maybe like a little chihuahua. Right now what I'm thinking is where I'm putting things. And when you do it this way, where you don't pencil beforehand, you have to think of what's actually going to be in front of something or behind something and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm doing now. It's kind of like almost like a pre-planning. We'll see how this goes. Inside here, I'm going to put a guitar pick. Let me see. Something interesting. I don't really play the guitar as much anymore. It's almost like, in some ways, my hands don't really want that functionality, it seems. Which happens, I suppose. You get a little bit, in some ways, out of practice. And sometimes, you know, you can't really maintain it. It happens, I suppose. And what I'm trying to do now is figure out where I want other parts of the musical instrument to be, and if I'll be okay with that. Hmm. Now you probably saw that I had off to one side a flying V style. Well, I'm going to go for a very specific type of flying V. But more kind of like model to the size of the player here. Hmm. Okay, let's see. Now, it's not always good to work on the details before you even have like the main part of whatever it is that you're doing done, but I'm kind of excited about seeing certain parts of this, and I'm just trying to figure out a couple of things. And because I'm doing it in this light blue pen, I might be able to correct some of the little faux pas. Yes. A little metal V down here. That would help to, well, in some ways they could be treated as guides almost. Hmm. Here's where we get things to be a little bit more difficult, because I want the guitar to be very specific. I have to try to figure out lines. And then I would shorten it, as I said. we're also going for a different sort of headstock. So with this, oops, this has like a sort of an arrowhead. And I'm not going to keep that. In fact, the design that I'm going for is referred to as an Explorer headstock, which is very specific. For one person's signature guitar. And if you don't know, allow me to tell you, I'm modeling this after Dave Mustaine's signature Flying V guitar. Which I think is pretty cool. Now, let's see if we can work in a few other kind of bonus things here as well. I'm going to have the hand of Stitch tilt just a little bit. We're going to have a gentle curving of one of the fingers. A more radically curved other finger here. And let's see. Okay. Now, this hand gesture is not what you think it is, if that's what you think it is. I don't know what you think it is. I'm just getting along here with trying to figure out some of the detail. Now, that's what I did down there. Okay. We need to figure out some of what's going on with the body. Now, Stitch has kind of a peanut shape, but not really, and we don't have to live with that. Very short little legs, I do believe, just from looking at the references. So we don't have to go too extreme here. I'll be honest, I don't know if I would even get the feet right here. That's okay though. This is some of the fun stuff of putting ideas in your sketchbook. I do think he has unusual little claws though, all over the place. And digits, I do believe, are in sets of 4, comparable to what you'd see with Mickey or, well, other anamorphic people-like characters. But I think this is the rough idea of what we have on the go here. Make sure an ankle is there. As I said, I don't really know. I feel like the feet are not really like this, but we're just going to kind of let it be this way, because I think it's funny. I need to put in a device here. So this thing that I'm drawing in right now, on a stage, you might hear someone refer to these as a PA. Or a monitor. Something that allows the performer to hear what's going on outside the stage as well. So chances are, when a performer like Dave Mustaine would play, he would have a whole wall of amplifiers and speakers set up behind as well. Now, some versions of these, although you can also get, like, you know, with your mic stand, you can get sort of like a different type of monitor that would allow you to keep track of your lyrics or cues from let's say like a director of the show to say, well, pyrotechnics are going off over here, or there's this going on, or you need to be aware of whatever this is coming up, and that kind of a thing. So there's lots of things that they do. For fun, we're going to have this version of Stitch. I'm going to assume is wearing like a vest and not just, I mean, already wearing shorts. Okay. So I think that is kind of the rough idea of what I've had in mind of what I want going on here. Let's go back up just for a moment, look at a couple of things. Now, this is going to be an interesting challenge. Here's the idea that I have. Starting off with a glass disc down here and a stem. Now this would curve a bit more into the palm. Now, a slight halo around this glassware. Now, if I'm to say that this right here is sort of like the horizontal line, this is where I'm going to put it then. Just like that. Okay, I think that's going to be it for part 2. Let's back that out just a little bit. Okay, I think that's going to be it, like I said. So stay tuned for part, well, 3, and we're going to use more color from the bunny pen, kind of fill this in a little bit. And yeah, that should be fun. So a little bit earlier, I knocked this Lego figure on the floor. And, well, I didn't really need it, I suppose, that much, but Still kind of neat. Okay, I'll set that aside. All right, stay tuned for the final part, and yeah, see where we go.